Every game begins the same way.
Hello, Birdland. This is Orioles Fan Central, and I'm back to bring you the hottest news and the deepest analysis about our favorite team. But before we dive into what really matters, and believe me, today's news is one of those that will shake the foundations of our team, I need to ask you a favor. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please click the subscribe button right now. By doing so, you not only support us in continuing this work, but you also ensure that you'll be the first to receive the fastest, most detailed, and most sincere analysis about the Orioles. Here we don't beat around the bush. We live and breathe the team's daily life, and we deliver the truth to you with a unique and passionate perspective. So, become a part of the Birdland that is truly connected to the pulse of the team. Click subscribe now! And don't forget our chant the O that echoes during the national anthem, a symbol of pride and identity that unites us. The news I've received from my inside sources, and which is already circulating in some corners of a specialized press, is that the Baltimore Orioles front office does not plan to re-sign veteran pitcher Zack Efflin. He, who was acquired in the summer of 2024 to strengthen the rotation, is expected to be allowed to enter free agency at the end of this season. The decision, which seems surprising to some, makes complete sense when we look at the franchise's long-term strategy, Efflin's performance this season. The move is another indication that the front office and coaching staff are committed to renewing the team, focusing on younger talents with growth potential. Efflin, although he arrived with good credentials and a history of success, failed to replicate his performance from last year, accumulating injuries and an ERA well above what is expected from a pitcher of his caliber, exceeding the 5.20 mark. His time with the O's was a roller coaster, a promising second half of 2024, but a 2025 season marked by ineffectiveness and time on the injured list. The news comes at a crucial moment where the team, already out of the playoff race, is testing new combinations and evaluating the roster for the future. The rise of Trevor Rogers, who has shown himself to be an elite pitcher, is one of the main reasons that solidify the decision not to invest in a long-term contract for a veteran with a history of injuries. The trend is for Efflin's spot in the rotation to be filled by a promising young player from our farm system, something the front office has always championed as a priority. Efflin's departure, therefore, is not seen as a loss, but as the opening of a new opportunity. The franchise is making it clear that it will not be tied to expensive, high-risk contracts with veterans, but instead will continue to build a team from the inside out. It's a risky move, but one that could pay off in the long run. The decision to let Zack Efflin enter free agency is a strategic move by the front office that aligns perfectly with the franchise's construction philosophy. It's not a decision based on emotion, but on data, performance, and a clear vision for the future. What the Baltimore Orioles have most valuable today is their farm system, full of talents ready to take the next step. Efflin, despite being a good reinforcement in the second half of 2024, no longer fits into that equation. His struggles in 2025, due to both injuries and below-par performance, have made him a high-risk asset for a possible new contract. Keeping a pitcher with an ERA above 5.0 who can stay healthy is the opposite of what the franchise needs at this time of transition. The O's are focused on giving opportunities to players like Trevor Rogers, who has emerged as a potential ace, and other talents who are developing. The news that Efflin won't be returning is in fact good news for Birdland. This means the franchise is willing to do what's necessary to build a championship roster, even if it means parting ways with a familiar name. This is not about disrespecting the player, but about smart management of resources and the roster. The trend is that Efflin will find a new team, and I wish him the best, but his time in Baltimore seems to have come to an end. The focus now is on who can contribute for the long term, not on who might have a good 6-month streak. The decision also reinforces the front office's confidence in the talents who are in line for the starting rotation, such as DL Hall, Grayson Rodriguez, and other names that are developing. It's a clear sign that the franchise is aiming high and won't settle for stopgap solutions. The next season will be a golden opportunity for these young players to show their worth. The non-re-signing of Zack Efflin is a key piece in the puzzle that the Orioles management is assembling for the future. Remember, the 2025 season, despite starting with high expectations, has turned into a year of restructuring. The team wisely traded several veterans with expiring contracts, restocking the farm system with new talent. Efflin's continued presence, as he wasn't traded at the deadline, was a question mark. Now, and the answer seems to be clear, the franchise is prioritizing youth and potential. The rotation's performance since the trade deadline, with the rise of Trevor Rogers and the solidity of other names, gave the front office the confidence needed to move forward without Efflin. The decision not to offer a new contract to a veteran is an important step towards building a sustainable and competitive team in the long term. The focus is on developing our own talents and investing in players who can be the core of the team for many years. Efflin, with a recent history of injuries and inconsistent performance, no longer fits into this vision. The real impact of the decision is that the franchise is freeing up salary cap space and, more importantly, opening a spot in the rotation for a young and promising player. It's a move that might seem risky in the short term, but in my opinion, it's the only correct strategy for the franchise's future. The Orioles cannot afford to be tied to expensive contracts with players who don't deliver the expected performance. The management is acting with intelligence and caution, ensuring that every dollar and every roster spot are used as efficiently as possible. The next trade window in free agency will be crucial for the roster's reconstruction. Efflin's departure is just the first step. The franchise now needs to fill this gap, and the best way to do that is with one of our own talents. It's an exciting time to be an O's fan, as with each passing day, it becomes clearer that the management is willing to do what's necessary to get back to the top. In summary, the news is that the Baltimore Orioles will let pitcher Zack Efflin enter free agency, choosing not to offer him a new contract. This decision, while it may seem a surprise to some, is a strategic and well-calculated move that reinforces the franchise's philosophy of focusing on youth and the development of internal talents. Efflin's departure, who had a 2025 year marked by injuries and below-par performance, frees up a spot in the rotation and salary cap space for the future. The rise of Trevor Rogers, in turn, shows that betting on young talents is the right path for the O's. The franchise is focused on building a championship team for the long term and not on short-term solutions. Now, I want to know your opinion, Birdland. What do you think of this decision by the front office? Do you believe it's the right time to let a veteran like Efflin go? What would be the best strategy for the next games and for the next free agency window? Let's fill the comments with our vision, our passion, and our knowledge about the team. Like this video if you agree that the team's future is in the young talents. Share it so more fans can stay on top of the news. And above all, subscribe to the channel to continue receiving the most exclusive and detailed analyses about the Baltimore Orioles. Thank you and see you next time.